to 10, so there's 90 cases of philanthropy, and there's 10 cases of 44% of teenagers are kicked out of their homes whenever they come out of the closet to their parents. Don't you think that those costs outweigh the 90 benefits of 10% tithing to a local charity?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think that that's an excellent argument. I kind of wish it had been the argument that I heard from the other side today. It's a difficult thing to assess because I don't have the data. I mean, you're right. I mean, let's say that 90% of people are made 1% better by Christianity and 10% of people are made 10,000 times worse by it. That would certainly throw off the balance. And because I don't have a lot of statistics for that, I can't say a whole lot. But on the issue that you brought up concerning homosexuality and its reception, I do think that it is significant that the only countries in the whole world which seem to be willing to grant same-sex marriage legal recognition are those that are within Christendom. And they're not contained just in Europe or just in North America, but throughout the whole world. So I think that Damon Linker has a point, that there is something about the Christian moral perspective which can be leveraged, at least. I don't think that it's necessarily an appropriate application, but it can be easily leveraged to extend to homosexual persons in connection with the idea of marriage. I mean, when Jesus says you should help those who are the least of these, and a society sees people being maligned and abused within a Christian context, that's going to very easily kind of bring them into that orbit of kinder behavior towards them, at least macroscopically.
Can I follow up just quickly? No? Oh.
Please keep it quick, though.
So, just quickly, yes or no, are you saying that you agree with me then, Eugene, that the Bible was wrong to say that homosexuality shall be killed?
It's getting in a different format here, but
I think this is the last time I'm going to allow this.
I think it's a prejudicial way to frame the question. I don't think...
The Bible says they shall be killed, is that right?
Yeah, but the Bible also says you can't eat shellfish, but Jesus says that those kinds of laws don't necessarily apply in the new context.
So the Bible's wrong.
It's not that it's wrong, it's just that I think those statements apply within a very certain and limited geographic and temporal scope, which the New Testament is very explicitly declared to no longer apply.
Right, I'm gonna cut you off there, and we're gonna do no more follow-ups from the other side and questions, just to keep it on the up and up.
Thank you. Sorry. But I want to touch it.
I get that.
So I felt bad. Like I thought there was going to be nobody in this, so I wanted to play devil's advocate, Mr. Parker. You made what seemed like a very important distinction between the behavior of Christians and Christianity itself in terms of Christian doctrine. You also brought up, though, the mistreatment of your ancestors, the Native Americans, by Christian settlers. Is there a... can you paint the picture for why that's not just the behavior of Christians, but a product of Christianity, Christian doctrine itself?
Under Christian teaching, the whole world should be converted to Christianity. And anyone who is not Christian is an outsider, is damned, is a savage, or whatever you want to call it. They are not full persons, human beings. So there's a Christian imperative to missionize, to convert. And we all see the tragic effects of Christian missionaries, Roman Catholic and Protestant as well, totally raping and destroying indigenous cultures because they had a teaching from the Bible that tells them that these people, without Christianity, are bad and going to go to hell. So you can see a direct connection between the teachings of Christianity itself and the horrible effects in the real world.
No more. We're just going to stick with answers for the time being so it doesn't drag on.
All right. Somebody asked me a question.
So, in spite of my secular bias, I found your presentation to be very impressive.
Well, thank you.
I particularly liked what you said about the anti-vaxxers. I completely agree with you in that. I don't know if the percentages are wrong, but say 98% of the vaccination is good, maybe 2% has complications, but it would be silly to scrap that, the positive, because of that small negative. So I'm wondering if we could apply that same kind of thinking to not necessarily religion, but the aspects you argued for that were positive that came out of religion. Say you referenced a lot of studies and meta-studies. Say as those studies evolve, I hate to say that word, say as those studies continue, that we find that some of those benefits are not necessarily from the teachings of the Bible, but say maybe the community or shared experiences, we're social animals, just the kind of group kind of just, I don't know, community that comes out of that kind of breeds those positives.
Mm-hmm.
If that's shown to be the case, much like the anti-vaxxer 98-2 argument, would you be willing to throw away the 2% that I thought in your presentation you kind of conceded was bad, like the women's rights and stem cells and birth control? Would you be willing to kind of contradict the Bible and say that, hey, these are the things that make us be 69% instead of the 65% of the non-religious, focus only on them and scrap the rest?
Yeah, I think it's a complicated question. While the debate tonight wasn't about the truth of Christianity, because I do accept the truth of Christianity, I'm committed to the theology. I mean, I think that the theology is correct, and I'm thrilled that Christianity enables me to make the case I made tonight because it also has social benefits. But the social benefits in my mind are kind of a nice side effect of Christianity. So even if the side effect wasn't there, while I'd have to let go